You go. You go now. You good.
See,
Everybody, welcome
last
to
time
Jet.
we did,
Okay, it's all good. Anyway, hey guys, welcome to Jedi Mike 7 Movie News YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jedi Mike 7, with boy J King, and we're here to review episode 6 and 7 of The Acolyte from Star Wars on Disney Plus. J King, please take it over.
y'all should know when he asks me to take over, that means he's not happy. He's not. But yeah, so we're here to talk about episode 6 and 7. This is last week's episode and this week's penultimate episode before next week's finale. So yeah, the show's almost over. I know for a lot of people that's a lot of, but let's just talk about the episodes in general. So first, episode 6. Episode 6 coming off the heels of episode 5's insanity of Jedi massacre and the reveal of who the masked man is and the workouts that he got going on. We let's talk about one side first. First, we have certain, I forget his name, but it's like he took Osha with him after May swapped places with Osha, brought her back to his place, which I know for a lot of people looked like the same planet Luke hit on in The Last Jedi, but it turns out it's not. It's a different planet. Looks a lot like it though, but yeah, he basically takes her there, and his entire plan is manipulation, to try and let her see the dark side, and trying to talk to her like, hey, you can only go so far as a Jedi, or on that side of the Force, or the threat, or however you want to interpret it. You want to know how he starts it off? Seduction. Because also, I just gotta say, I've never had the audio description on Disney Plus, but I would advise you to turn it on for that moment. In fact, I got it right here, just real quick. As he begins to untie a velvet knot from around his waist, she straightens up for a better look. He begins to undress, revealing a prominent scar on his well-toned back. Dropping his billowy-legged come-up hands, he steps forward with a...
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Don't even worry about
I know
that. No,
it literally reads like a 50 Shades of Grey book. I know, but basically,
he guides his hand
entire...
across my lightsaber.
But so
She
his plan
stared through
is to
me,
be...
through my
okay,
metachlorian cloud.
okay, ew. So basically, his entire thing is to try and get her to see that the Jedi ain't shit, and the reasons why, especially given the fact that they were still hiding stuff from her, which we'll get to that when we can talk about episode 7. But basically, that's on that side. While on the side with Soul and who he thinks is Osha, but is actually May, we're starting to see Soul, break down after having lost practice. Because again, he's the only survivor outside of May and Osha. He is the only survivor of that entire massacre. Every other main character outside of them and ones that are over back on Coruscant are all dead. So he's definitely racked with guilt. And again, the actor is doing so much work to carry the show. But
Yes.
again, we get some more introspection on like how torn he is for keeping the secrets that he has, for so long. We also get some funny antics of Basil, the little gerbil dude, and Pip, who he turned back on, thank God. Knowing it's May and pulling some Home Alone shenanigans on her, and also Amanda Stanford. That was a real reaction, that moment. But yeah, basically, episode ends with her with Osha putting on the helmet, just wondering what on earth is that actually like. Now, is she going to become one with the dark side? We'll see next week's eighth episode. And with May, Soul captured her because he realized it was May. I think he realized a long time ago it was May. And he's like, you know what? And I swear, it was almost as if it was an entirely different person. He's like, you're going to sit there. You're going to listen to everything I got to tell you. Which leads into episode 7, which is an episode that I saw coming because I remember the showrunner saying something about that. We're basically seeing the other perspective of episode 3's events. You remember episode 3, the power of man, that episode. Yeah, that episode. Basically, uh, as I said, we get the other perspective. The perspective of episode 3 was more on the mothers and on May and Osha. This time, it's more so on our 4 Jedi that are responsible for many of the stuff that happened there. Soul, everybody on that side of things. We get to see stuff from different perspectives. Like, they came to that planet because they thought it was uninhabitable. It's apparently been uninhabitable for 100 years, especially after, and they name dropped a great hyperspace disaster. For all the High Republic fans there, but they realized that the place, while it should be uninhabitable, isn't, because one, Soul spots May and Osha as well as the Coven, but two, they're looking for the virgins, not virgin. You know who you are. Thought I said virgin, but no, the virgins.
Virgins.
Which, yeah, the virgins, which is the same thing we heard back in episode 1 when they were talking about it with Anakin. And yeah, again, the parallels are still there. I'll get to that in a second. But basically, we see multiple, again, as I said, multiple perspectives of what happened in episode 3, like Soul spying on the mothers as the girls are training. When the Jedi did come in to talk to them about, interrupting the ceremony before Osha got the mark and the dark energy magic. We also get to see May's test. We didn't get to see that back in episode 3. We get to see how one of them just really wanted to go home, and the seduction that one of the mothers puts on him, be like, I know what you want. Just tell me. I'll listen to you. That basically is what it was. But, and then we get to see that the council is like, nah, they're too old. You interfere too much. But then we also get to see what exactly happened that caused the mothers and all of the people of that coven to die. Basically, a whole chain of reactions of, you broke in, I'm about to use my dark magic, Soul kills by accident, they mind control Kalnaka, the Wookiee Jedi, which actually leads to a really cool action sequence. I will give this episode that. It was a good action sequence on that part. Some really good choreography, as always, with the series. We get to see that May, the reason May was all of a sudden angry is because her mother was like, get angry.
You serious?
Yes, I'm serious. That's why she burned the book and burned the door. Is because her mother said get angry, and because while her mother was out there trying to stop the Jedi, she basically told May, "Hey, go be a menace." So yeah, May did cause the fire that trapped Osha in the room momentarily. Also, I guess dark witch magic means you turn into the freaking mist, and can control people. Again, still like that fight sequence, but yeah. We get to see the reason all the covens were dead was because in order to free Kalnaka, Trinity over here used her Jedi Force abilities to save him, but subsequently all the coven just went.
They just passed out. Like, they passed away from menopause, but that's what happened. When you don't.
Yeah,
what happens.
And also we get to see where homeboy got his scars from. It wasn't a lightsaber, but it was Kalnaka's claws. As I said, never mess with it. Never insult a Wookiee's cooking. But yeah. And also we get to see that something we didn't notice back in episode 3 when Soul reached out to May and Osha with the whole collapsing parts. He caught both of them, but couldn't hold on to both of them, especially since he was the only Jedi. So he said, I'm gonna take Osha. May, you can fall.
Right. Yeah, he chose. Osha over May because she wanted he wanted a Padawan. That's all. Really what he wanted.
Yeah, and even though Osha did want to go with the Jedi, still a dick move.
Yeah, and look again. I'll let how J King have it and everything. Can we get into this stuff? This is my thing. I understand the imagery that they have in this episode. First of all, going here, Chimere and Soul were at this point are the most interesting characters of this show and probably the best. And that's not really saying much, but these are the two best characters in which we spend more time with Chimere. Even though, he did the whole assassin stuff in episode 5, which I thought was really cool. However, again, this show is really, in terms of my opinion, it's not what you originally pitched of seeing the perspective of the dark side, right? Of saying, hey, we're start from finish, we're all about dark side. But then, and the whole point of this, again, and the show is also to steer your view against the Jedi, saying, are these really, keepers of peace and stuff? And then also, dark side, does it mean evil or just means they're just using another part of the force, and stuff like that, right? Other concepts can introduce us as the verge, or the vergence, that that basically created OSHA. It's basically the same thing that happened to Anakin, where it took a consciousness and able to create it. But in this case, it took a consciousness and able to split it in two. Which is another thing where it's like, are they really twins or are they just the same person? Again, the line that both of them had beginning of the series, or again, the series is like always, one half of one, or make two makes one, whatever, all that stuff, right? Sister, sister, and stuff, right? But I have really big issues with the show, and because I understand the imagery of the Jedi be police interfering, in a situation, invading space and boundaries, because they might see imminent danger or whatever. But and also having an initial of a flight or flight response of, you don't know what's going on with this culture, so you think immediately means, oh, they must be doing something wrong, or we're doing this for the good. And it kind of resembles not what the coven also represents, probably people from other different cultures, such as, especially good we'll call back into like the Native Americans, how they'll come, people will come in, give them all the, saying they're here to save you and all stuff like that, but then end up leading to your demise and taking your land, your property, your resources, your children, etc. As a police officer, you've seen somebody might be being presumed as a threat, you don't know, whatever, so then you initially act, and then it leads to somebody being killed, or innocently. And that's what happened here. And people, I can just say, have a cool scary view of Soul right now, because all he done in this entire episode, and really what all the Jedi in this episode done, was for selfish ambition. Either obviously for I think it was Kalnaka, the Wookiee Jedi, and that he basically was also taken against his will, and everything. But Carrie Ann Moss, the what's it called, the Padawan Tommen from Game of Thrones, that's what I'm calling him. But the last Lannister to fall on King's Landing, and or one of the children, I should say. But I had an issue with this because my main thing is just, okay. One, pet peeve Rousseau. I don't understand how this dude became a Jedi. If this is to the point of him having this selfish ambition to do all this stuff because he just doesn't have a Padawan, and to do all this over consistently, this is not like Anakin selfish ambitions, because that was tied to a prophecy, right? This is just pure like, wait, this is so out of character, at least what you established. Now, I felt also structurally we should have gotten this in the beginning of the series, or at least something to insinuate that Soul is needed, has a some ambition about him. So that way, that when this moment happens and stuff, it's not like, oh, it's out of character. It's like, oh no, he did this. It makes sense. But I've been in discussion with a lot of people over this topic today, and not to go back and forth, but again, I thought the plot of this was really stupid. Again, the girl, the fact that the little sister, not only just the pet peeve, you start a fire with, just the way you're trying to burn a book, and it led to the entire burning of the entire place and everything. Okay, whatever, pet peeve. With the mothers, I understand, okay, it was interesting to see the main mother saying, I wanted to let her go and do what she wanted to do. But I forgot what was the other race of the second mother, the angry one. Is a I forgot. So with that, no, they're not Dathomir.
It's not. It's not. It's the other race. It's the other side of the race of people of Maul. I forget the name too, but yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the race of them. But again, I thought they were. Again, it just the complete narrative shift until I get mad, get angry, and all stuff, and then that got to the point of why from episode 3, when you saw the daughter, it's like, I can't let you leave, I'll kill you, and all that stuff. That just felt weak. I felt like they could have done another way to actually make that more powerful. Yeah, and then obviously seeing May, you understand her perspective of what uh why she has such vengeance against the Jedi because Soul killed their mother, uh, and everything, and I get it, but I just had an issue in terms of how everything was structured and connected to each other's plots and everything, I end up questioning, um, like what was the showrunner really thinking about really creating a story of the perspective of the dark side, because I understand, yeah, we might be feeling sympathetic for them. If you want to do that, there's plenty of stories of Sith throughout, not even just in Disney, Star Wars, or Legends or whatever, that you can feel a level of sympathy for the dark side user, for a Sith, for even a case of a villain. We've seen Darth Revan, Darth Bane, all the other characters in obviously in Old Republic and all stuff like that. But we've seen it before. You have sympathy for Vader and everything. Like, I get it. I just felt like this did not make any sense in terms of how they connected it to give the impact of why, and this is on both sides, right? I'm not gonna say that, oh, that Soul is just justified for doing what he did. It just made sense. Like, how the hell are you not gonna notify the council, and also for Carrie Ann Moss to not allow Soul to tell the council when he, at a moment at that time, said, "I'm willing to step forward, take responsibility and stand before the council." Like, no, we can't tell him. We're gonna tell him a lie. Why? It's just like it made it, and I mean this. I gave this show Lost Saving Grace. You see my reviews. I just did not understand. It's like, is this the bar now that we have in terms of how to execute a story of misunderstood situations and conflicts and everything? Because again, in all this, at the end of the day, after this episode, we're in one episode for the series, this finale. We still do not care. At the general note, really don't care about these two girls, Osha and May. Or at least I feel they have not done a good job to make it feel like this is their show and these are impactful, characters, and also make it to a point where I actually care, want to see what happened with these characters. I don't. Right now, I'm only focused on two that are really the more interesting characters, which is Soul and Chimere, and really Chimere above anything else. But we only got to see his full extent in really one or two episodes. And I don't know if they're trying to build up, thinking that they're going to get a second season to add more explanation, even to the witches of the coven, like the power that she was doing. Okay, that'd been nice to see in episode 3 what you were doing, because then I'm like, wait, what are you trying to do? I don't know. I see the black mist and everything. Now I do the first thing I can, and then the other mother's on attack mode. So I'm thinking you're about to do something. So yeah, I just don't get it. But I don't know, JK. Like, do you understand where I'm coming from in this perspective of this
No,
episode?
I completely get it because again, like as I said, as I like stated before, as soon as I was done watching this week's episode, I was just like, there are a lot of good concepts here. It's just it feels weird. Like it feels like it should have happened. Like if anything, maybe this should have been an episode earlier. Like maybe this should have been episode
Yes.
6 right after the massacre or something. Or that some of the perspectives that we did get in this episode maybe just have like one or two of them actually be from in episode 3, some context or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's
I
it's,
and
it's weird.
it's a shame. It's a shame because I see some good things in here. I'm being fair. I'm not good, and I honestly felt this was to me the weakest episode, and this was actually weaker than episode 3 because I felt like I get that they were trying to do, and I will say in terms of how the way it was shot, I did like seeing the same scene but from a different perspective, like or a different camera angle and everything. I think they did that very interesting. Um, to tie that in and everything. But again, it's like what they did, I wasn't riding with it. I just was not. And I think honestly it's far too late at this point because I'm expecting the next week episode to be a rush finale. And it's completely just switching your perspective to Jedi. And it's not about there even in Clone Wars. There been Jedi in Clone Wars have done some dumb stuff, but has been justified because like, yeah, and then it become an enemy of the council and all stuff like that. Like, but when you are now saying, okay, this moral compass is just out the window at this point, and we're just taking selfish ambition, then what? We're not Jedi, then what are we? That's again the whole point of the what is. Dark side was always the evil, and then the light side of force was the good and everything. Now it's out. It's gray. And even though that might be the concept of black and white, and then focusing on the gray area is interesting. House of Dragon is also notorious for that. The blacks, the greens, seeing two perspectives of this family conflict and then seeing how they all started. I get that, but I'm seeing this show how they're trying to do it. And again, it's like the narrative is not being executed very well to give the emotional impact that they need for viewers to actually be attached to these characters. And the ones that you were attached to, for some of us was Soul, here we have this episode where we completely, even though they told us to expect for this to happen, but to completely just throw everything good about Soul out the window, but also making choices to just change his character left and right to make no sense, even to a point where we are now, 16 years later or whatever. That what the Padawan just didn't. I got someone a witch got into my mind, and then she knew I wanted to go home. But now I must take a code of silence for 16 years. Like I just I just don't get it. I just don't. But yeah, but anyway, before we end this off, you have any final words, J King, before we kind of get into a rating for this?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'll say this is that this again, this is a very weird show. It's not that it's like the bane of the existence like some people are making out to be, but it is a weird show with good concepts, just not executed correctly or in the right order. And I feel like if it was rearranged a bit, if it was told in a different light, this show would probably not be as frustrating for some people. And I'm just hoping that next week's finale is actually a good episode. That's all I'm hoping for.
Sorry, 1 second. No, I had emergency for my wife. But yeah, and I understand exactly where you're coming from, and I just want to make it very clear here. I am giving this show a chance, but I I hope I hope that Lucasfilm pay attention to the show because there are very good things in this show that if they were just executed in a little bit better. And again, the writing of this show can just be a lot more execution and kind of getting back to the meat of not only Star Wars, but just basic, crucial, foundational forms of storytelling that is easier said than done, right? But I am again now. I'm not gonna go be butthurt about it, saying Star Wars is dead and everything. I made this point. Star Wars is within us. It'll always be within me, being with you and everything. It's not that. I think it gets to a point that some Star Wars content you're going to consume and some you're not. Doesn't mean I feel like the brand is dead, even though I feel like it definitely is on decline. But I want this show to succeed. But again, it just every episode I'm just kind of rocking onto it, and I'm disappointed. But aside from that, I'm gonna give this episode a C minus or so, or maybe I'll say probably 2 out of 5, 2.5 out of 5 stars for this. But yeah, Jakey, what's your rating for this episode? Are you muted? Are you muted, by the way, man?
Probably like a 6 or 7, somewhere around there.
Out of 10?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Got you. But yeah, guys, but that's the question is, what do you guys think about the Acolyte? Obviously. Oh, and that's another thing. If anybody about the Rotten Tomato score, about the audience score being removed, that is absolutely false. Not saying that the score was not present. That there's a glitch that happened because again, this has happened before with Rotten Tomatoes when you have people have a reviewing platform just instantly go in there, bots, etc. Then that cause a situation with that the audience score being temporarily missing but then it comes back, momentarily, whatever. But Rotten Tomatoes made that. Rotten Tomatoes was not trying to remove the audience score and make it look like, oh, this show is great and everything. That's not what happened. That's false. But just trying to give that clarity there. But anyway, guys, make sure you guys hit subscribe, comment, like, and share. We'll be covering the finale next week. And we'll be on for the ride saying, hey, you can't say we didn't stuck out with this show, because we did, and we got every single one. I will not have an issue with people whether you like or dislike the show. I will have an issue if you did, you dislike the show or whatever, and hate watch it or whatever. Not really hate watch, but just more kind of go on this bandwagon if you did not watch the series. So if you watch the series and actually made the decision on your own and everything, it's all film is subjective, series and everything. Art is subjective. But that's the beauty that we have conversations and everything, back and forth and stuff. But again, I hope we can have more positive dialogue on this show, or at least just with Star Wars, period. But only time will tell and stuff like that. But anyway, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, comment, like, and share, and notification bell on your way out. We see you guys next video. Peace.